Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. Today, I want to take you through my wedding binder. Here's my binder. And as you can see, I kept it really plain. It is a white binder, about 1 inch. And I just kind of found this template online and I printed out all of the coverings that you will see within the binder to act as dividers. So I found this online. It was a printable, so it was able to print out like a bunch of different things that you need for the binder. And some of them I actually did make myself, so let's get into it. All right, when you open the binder, the first thing that you see is pockets here. These pockets typically do have other things in them, but for privacy and confidentiality for the video, I actually did take it out, but I do utilize the pockets. I think pockets are super important. What I have here is a hole punch. You need 2 hole punch things to put them in a 3-wing binder. So I don't want to be looking and searching for a hole punch. I want to have the hole punch with me. So it is here at all times. This brings us to our first divider. So as you can tell, I did not use actual plastic or paper dividers that stick out. I just used these kind of plastic sleeves. So first off, dividers are expensive, really, okay? Especially the ones that I like that are plastic with the pocket in it. I didn't want to spend money on making this binder, so I used my resources. I printed things out that were already made and created for me. I just finished a 2.5-year grad school program, so I had some office supplies on deck. So I just found these in my office, used them for my wedding binder. The first tab that you'll see, or the first kind of divider, is timeline and to-dos. So I wanted to make sure that everything in the binder and everything that I needed to do and accomplish was here. So here we have payment plans, due dates, notes to self of when I need to call a vendor, when I should send out invitations, when I should send save the dates, things of that sort. So I kept all of the timeline stuff in the front. All right. Next is my financial piece. This is where my budget lives. I created my budget using Excel in Microsoft Office. If you want to take a look at what I put in my budget, not numbers as of right now, but if you're interested in looking at just how I broke it down and how I formatted it, I can make a video on that as well. This is where if I get a quote of how much something is, I might put it in here as an estimate. Financial stuff, money, timelines of payments are also in here. Next section, this is one of the tabs that I created. This is for the wedding party. I wanted to make sure that the folks that we're having in our wedding had a place in the binder. One, so I could have names, so I could have sizes, whether that's dress size, shoe size, suit size. I wanted all of that info in here. So I have names, I have contact information, phone numbers, emails, outfit choices, whole bunch of things that I have in here for our wedding party. All right. Next up is stationery. So in this part of the binder is where I have ideas for our save the dates, to which I'm actually gonna make. I have a DIY project for our save the dates, so I have information about that in here. I also have information about what should be on the invitation that we send, the wording that I want to use, the font that I want to use. I also picked out like thank you cards for after, reception cards, everything paper related or things that I need to send or mail out. All that information is within the stationery section. In this piece, I have this ceremony. So behind this tab has the order of ceremony. So whether it is the timeline of the day, whether it is the order of procession, so like who walks in first, who walks with who. We're gonna have ushers, so there are gonna be some folks that are designated to actually walk in some of the folks before the ceremony begins, and then people to walk in during the ceremony, who's walking whom down the aisle, things of that sort. All things that are ceremony related will go here. Next is the reception in the venue. Luckily, our reception and our wedding, the ceremony is all happening in one place. So it is a one-stop shop. And so I don't have location or anything like that here in reception. What I do have is things about a timeline of reception, what's going to take place at the reception, if we're doing like the garter or the bouquet toss or toasts, a game, things like that. All of what's going to be taking place at the reception is here. Here we have our guest list and seating. So I have a seating chart that I have created in Publisher, was it? Or maybe it was PowerPoint. I think it was PowerPoint is where my seating chart lives. And then my guest list also lives in an Excel sheet. However, what I use here, I'm one of those people who like tangible things. So like things that I can touch, that I can feel, that I can write on. So I have that here. What we see behind this tab is kind of like our first drafts of our guest list, like our wish list perhaps, and then we kind of went through and had to make some changes and some adaptations, and so that's kind of presented on the Excel sheet. But here we have kind of the starting point of that, what's going to be happening, where people are seated. Also has information about our venue in terms of it's going to be on the tables, you know, how many people can be seated at one table, things of that sort. So all of that is here. All right, next up, the wedding registry. So we have decided to register with a few different places. All the places are behind this tab. It includes kind of our login information, because if you know anything about registering, whether it's for like a baby registry or a wedding registry, you kind of have to create like a profile with a password and all this stuff, and it gets kind of complicated. So I wanted to make sure that I had everything in the same place. And so this is all the information about our registry, what we need. There's a lot of really awesome resources out there that tell you, hey, make sure to register for this, for the home, for the bedroom, for the living room, for the kitchen. All of those kind of really key pieces are in here to remind us to continue building our registry. Next is music. So if you know anything about me, if you know anything about my fiance, you know that music plays a really big part in our lives. So this has everything to do with our music during that day. Our DJ, our playlist, the things that we want to hear, the things that we do not want to hear, timing of when certain music is going to be played. I have all of that here. Okay, photography and videography. So I'm one of those folks, I want pictures and a movie to look back on. So this is where I kept kind of all of the vendor information, the price quotes, the timeline, because if you've done this before, they kind of charge by like package and then also by hour. And if you want 1 or 2 or 3 people to be there shooting your wedding. So I have all that info inside of this tab. Travel and accommodations. This is for all the information that a person might need if they are coming to our wedding. I kind of put myself in the role of a guest, and if I was traveling to a wedding, what are the things that I wanted to know or things that I would love to have available to me. Looked at what's around our venue that people could go to and enjoy, places to eat, places to grab drinks, family locations, because there might be some folks who bring their kids, so places that are family friendly, where to fly into, hotels in the area. So I've actually chosen a couple of hotels. So there's gonna be one where myself, my fiance, the wedding party, family are staying, and then there's also some other options because I know that everyone has a budget. And so I wanted to make sure that everyone felt like they were being thought about and accommodated for. All right, gifts and favors. So this includes information as to how I proposed to my bridesmaids and my matron of honor. It includes information of how my fiance proposed to his groomsmen and his best man. This has everything to do with favors for our guests who attend the wedding, as well as gifts that we want to give, like parents, any kind of gifts or things that are related here that we're giving for the wedding party on the day of. All of that is here. All right, inspiration. So like many of you, or like many of us, when we get engaged, we just have all these different ideas of what we want to see, what we don't want. So I created a place that kept all of the things, the inspiration, the things that I wanted. So the theme of our wedding is kind of like a classic elegance, and I really looked at images or decorations or just regular decor from the minute you walk in to the minute you leave. How can I make that feel take place? Like, this is elegant, this is classy, this is upscale, this is great. So I kept all my inspiration here. All right, wedding website. Everything that has to do with our wedding website is in here. I've also kept, right, our passwords, our wedding website, like URL, all the information, the tabs, everything that's on the website is here. I created the website, my fiance added a lot of things, so we have all the tabs, all the things we want to add, all the things that are present here in the wedding website section. All right, after that, attire. So this is where we are putting all of our information about clothing. Who's wearing what are the colors that go with these colors, and so what's the style of dress, what's the color of dress, because you all know you can't just say red, blue. It has to be a specific, like, itemized number, a type of red, a type of blue. We put all the information based on clothing, sizing, number, item number, all that stuff. All right, beauty. This one is still kind of an empty tab for me right now. I do not have a stylist or makeup artist at this time, so that's what information will be in here, along with things like any accessories or attire that I might be wearing outside of the dress would go here. All right, the day after. So our wedding is going to be more like a wedding weekend, and so there is going to be some activities for us to partake in the day after our wedding that we are inviting people to. So all the information about where that is, what time it is, our ideas around our day after experiences are inside this part of the binder. All right. After that, the honeymoon. We are actually going on our honeymoon directly after the day after event. So again, we're having a wedding weekend, and then we're taking that next week off for our honeymoon. So everything that has to do with travel for our honeymoon, everything that has to do with the accommodations, the location that we are going to. Pretty much this is my fiance's part of the binder, because he has done amazing work in making sure that my dream honeymoon and our dream honeymoon comes true. There's a lot of kind of tips and tricks that we've kind of done to help work within the system, get the best deals, to use what we got to get what we want. So it's amazing. This is his tab, and I'm super excited about our honeymoon. All right. Other, so this means anything else that I maybe forgot that I don't know where to put. I might put it here first and then categorize it. Just a random piece, but thought it was necessary so the binder doesn't get super cluttered. This can also be where I have like our emergency kit, like if, I don't know, someone has bubble guts and they need some Pepto-Bismol, if someone has a headache, they need some Tylenol, if someone, I don't know, was putting on their tie and cut themselves, I have a Band-Aid. So just random things that you kind of wouldn't really think about, I have in here. I have some extra pages in the back, and that brings us to this folder. This folder is usually here, sometimes it's with me personally, because both myself and my fiance have access to this binder. However, the back of the binder, no touchy. This has to do with everything that is a surprise from my fiance. So that lives here in the back. If you noticed, in the back of the majority of my pages, I have like binder paper here, like little sections that have just a blank piece of paper, because if something comes up and I just want to write it in, I am able to do that within this binder. Thank you all so much for taking a tour of my wedding binder. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I look forward to interacting with you and answering your questions in the comments. I look forward to also creating more videos within my wedding planning series. This is just the beginning. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out our proposal video. I'll have it linked for you over here. And go ahead and check out the You're Engaged, Now What video. That's super awesome. I had a lot of fun making that one, but definitely go ahead and check those two videos out. I will have them linked up here and in the iCards, and I will also put them in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you here again very, very soon. And remember to always fill your cup.